Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're just going to quickly turn off the camera. Hi. Thank you for joining us today. We have a new location today. We're coming to you from the archives at the museum today, and what better fitting place as we're talking about part 4 of our snapshot series with the negative collection we have from the Transcona newspaper. So before we will begin, we will be doing or giving the land acknowledgement.
So the Transcona Museum resides on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, as well as the homeland of the Métis Nation.
And before we get started again, because I'm very bad at this, we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Alana. I'm the curator here at the Transcona Museum, and with me today is Jen.
Hi. I'm the assistant curator.
So if you've ever watched any of these before, it's very similar. We're just showing off some of the negatives we have in our collection, giving a little bit of history on it. But what we're going to do is we're going to get the presentation started. So we're going to stop our video and turn on the presentation and go from there. All right. If we can get it working, there we go. With land acknowledgement, which we already completed. So the negatives that we're showcasing again in this series are what we term the St. Vital negatives. They're not actually from St. Vital, they're actually from the Transcona News. Those newspapers that you see on the screen are actually directly behind where Jennifer and I are sitting today. The St. Vital negatives came to us from the St. Vital Historical Society, so that's why we refer to them as the St. Vital negatives. There are over 2,000 negatives in this collection, which were all organized in different envelopes with a date in a year, and they actually correspond to the Transcona newspaper as they were taken by the photographer of the Transcona News. So we were able to cross-reference with the dates on the envelopes. We were able to find the events or the people in the images from the actual newspaper, and that's why we're able to have so much information on these images. Otherwise it would be unknown person, unknown event, unknown date, unknown person, unknown event, maybe park circle. You know, we might know the location, but it's been very, very helpful having all this additional information. A lot of people, they ask us if we have any information on an event or of people or of a house, and sometimes we do get hits from the St. Vital negatives in the collection. So with that, we're going to get started.
So normally we do this talk and we center it around a particular theme. This time I decided let's go month by month. So kind of like a year in the life of the of our negative collection. The years are in no particular order, so it's going to jump around a little bit, but we're going to begin with January.
So this is the winners of the Transcona Junior Chamber of Commerce Christmas Light Up Contest. Left to right, we have Norm Jamison, who is a project chairman, M. Glesner, second prize winner, A. Blum, first prize winner, Wayne Harris, the JC president, and missing from this photo was K. Henry, the third prize winner, and W. Reed, honorable mention. And this image comes to us from page 4 of the Transcona News, 17th of January, 1963.
So this image is members of the 1963 Transcona School Board, Mrs. Mary Andre, Harold Hatcher, chairman, Ms. Gladys Spurl, Fred Maleskowski, very sorry for name pronunciation, Don Wood, secretary treasurer, and Lorne Wallace. And this image is page 2 of the Transcona News, 17 January 1963.
This is Public Works Department employees trimming a tree on Victoria Avenue West, and it appeared on page 1 of the Transcona News, 31st of January 1963.
And this right here would be the Shop Easy.
Yes.
So,
which is the Christian Reformed Church now. So I don't
Yeah.
believe the building that they're standing in front of is there anymore, because that's now, I believe, the St. Michael's apartments.
oh yes. Yes. So this I think some of these images were also, the description was taken in front of the Transcona News office.
Mm.
So yeah, that building may not be there anymore. This is a North American chickadee in a milk carton bird feeder featured on page 1 of the Transcona News, 23rd of January, 1964. They look so happy.
This is Beverly Devishire of Wayota School walking to school and bundled up in a snowsuit from page 12 of the Transcona News, the 20th of January, 1966. This image reminds me of the child, the little sibling from A Christmas Story,
Yes.
where they're all bundled up and can't move.
Now 1966 was also the same year of the 66 blizzard, so I believe it was quite a cold and blustery winter that year. So just a couple months, 2 months away from the big blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
This is H. Parker of 429 Rousseau Avenue West, breaking up ice with an axe on his roof, featured on page 1 of the Transcona News, 20th of January, 1966.
A little bit of an action shot there.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going into February. This is Mrs. Ethel Brisley, a ham radio operator, from page 9 of the Transcona News, the 28th of February, 1963. Did we not post this photo on Facebook and her family saw it?
I'm pretty sure.
Believe, and they were able to reminisce with the photo, seeing her.
There are a couple of photos of her in, at her station. So it was either this one or one of the other ones, but it's always nice when people recognize family members.
Mm-hmm. And we post a lot of these images on our Facebook page as well. And we get a lot of engagement, a lot of people reminiscing, helping us try to figure out where things are located or giving us more information than what we had. It's pretty great, actually.
So this is the Transcona Collegiate students portraying Mrs. Maxwell, of no relation to me, and her 3 teenage children in the school play Just Ducky, featured on page 12 of the Transcona News, 28th of February, 1963.
This image is of members of the 1st Transcona Scouts returning from a snowshoe hike. So left to right is Ken Higgins, 13 years old, of 519 Melrose Avenue West. Ken Slater, 11 years old. Herbert Slater, 13 years old, and both of them resided at 614 Regent Avenue West. And this image appeared on page 10 of the Transcona News, 20th of February, 1964.
So this is an image of collapsed sections of the Metropolitan Homes warehouse, which was destroyed by fire. There was no other description in the database other than it was just destroyed by fire. Featured on page 1 of the Transcona News, 27th of February, 1964. I'm not even sure where this warehouse was located.
Mm-hmm. I bet if we posted this one on Facebook, someone would know.
Mm-hmm.
This is an image of Mr. and Mrs. John Chobank of their golden anniversary celebration, appeared on page 4 of the Transcona News, 17th of February, 1966. And golden anniversary is
50?
50?
There are, in this collection, there are a lot of anniversary celebration photographs, which are wonderful to see.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Transcona Public Library Board sitting, Mrs. R.T. Rankin and Mrs. M. Tagelberg. Standing from left to right is Alderman Paul Martin, Vic Gardner, A.I. Hamilton, and Roy Sellers, architect. Page 1 of the Transcona News, 15th of February, 1967. So maybe because the library was built a couple years later, wasn't it, in the late 60s? Oh,
the library was there. It was maybe they're discussing actually the museum moving in, because the museum was founded
Well,
in 67, right around that. I believe it was a motion made in early February. So this could actually be, and it was a motion made by Alderman Paul Martin. This could be potentially planning of where perhaps the museum could go.
Ooh, early history.
Maybe, potentially, hypothetically.
Allegedly.
Yes.
All right, so now we're going to move into March.
This is an unidentified barber and customer at the Maruka Barber Shop, celebrating 50 years of business in Transcona, located on Regent Avenue West. This comes from page 8 of the Transcona News, 7th of March, 1963. And I'm sure someone watching this or viewing this later will know the identity of the barber. It's likely one of Maruka. I think it was two brothers that did it. So it's, I can't say for certain, but it's potentially.
I'm just noticing in boys 75 cents a haircut, $1
On Saturdays.
maybe. That's pretty reasonable for the 60s though. So from left to right, Carol Sward, Sandra Topolinsky, Jay Zamet, and Lyle Foster, Queen, Princess, King, and Prince of the Maple Leaf Winter Carnival at the Transcona Collegiate Auditorium, featured on page 1 of the Transcona News for March 1965.
Definitely don't do this anymore. There's a number of photos of the queens and princesses and kings throughout different events and through different years in the collection. This is dipping a line through George Lake, Mike Kasenchuk holding onto a northern pike. I apologize. I am not good with pronunciation of names, everyone. So this is page 8 from the Transcona News, the 3rd of March, 1966. So again, right before the blizzard.
Before the blizzard, because the blizzard was March 4th. So, so this would have been posted or taken at least a week or two prior. Yeah.
The newspaper only came out once a week. So for something to appear, it might have been on that date, but the image might have been taken sooner.
And I'm not sure where George Lake is.
I do not know either.
So this is children from Margaret Underhill School who took a plant tour of the Transcona News, which that would have been along Victoria Avenue at the time. Page 1 of the Transcona News, 15th of March, 1967.
And I believe it was in our last small talk presentation that we did that we had a couple other interior photographs of the Transcona News and the machinery and
then moving it into the building.
Yeah, and actually producing papers as well. This is steam coming from the malting plant on Dugald Road. So this appeared on page 1 of the Transcona News, 1st of March, 1967. And driving down that road in the wintertime nowadays, it would look very, very similar. Not a lot has changed.
No. This is poor drainage on the streets. Page 4 of the Transcona News, 29 March, 1967.
And it doesn't look like from the image we can tell what the crossroads are. Likely someone would recognize the house and they'll be able to let us know. And anytime anyone comments on an image on Facebook and gives us additional information, we put that information into our database. So the next time we show the photo or we do a presentation with it or even post it again, we have more information.
So please comment if you know exactly where this is.
April. So this is a decorated light stand staff photo. The descriptions are just what we got from
the newspapers.
Or maybe additional information on the envelope. But this came from page 3 of the Transcona News, 30th of April, 1964.
There are definitely some months when I was doing this that there were more staff photos than others. So I don't know if it was a slow news week.
So a little bit of filler, someone walking around.
Mhm.
Also, too, although the negatives are in little, they were in little envelopes with dates and months and years. Going through this, we looked through some of this enough that we know that some of them are out of order. They might be
Yep.
in the March 1964 folder, but looking at the weather and stuff, we might know actually that's more like April or May, or it actually goes with this series of photos. But in archives, we have to respect the natural order of how things came into us. So we're keeping them in the order that they're in.
This is construction site of the All Saints Ukrainian Greek Orthodox Church at Edward Avenue and Day Street. Page 1 of the Transcona News, 19 April 1964. And that says 7 up right there. So that would be,
Edward is further north. It's past
Victoria, right?
Oh yeah. I think it's even past Kildare. Not 100% sure though. These are students at Wayota School waiting to register and receive a classroom. So page 1 of the Transcona News, 9th of April, 1964. And I did go through a lot of these because some of the years we have of these images were the same years that Terry Fox attended Wayota School. So I did go through trying to see if I could spot him because he did grades 2 and 3 at Wayota School. So I did go through trying to see if I could spot him in one of them, and I couldn't confirm if I did or didn't.
So this image is firefighters cleaning up a fire that occurred on April 6, 1965 on the northeast corner of the Dupree block at the corner of Ravelston Avenue and Day Street, featured on page 1 of the Transcona News, 8 April 1965. And this is one of a few series of this fire, but this happened to be kind of one of the more interesting action shot photos.
Mm-hmm. This is Diane Cooper, who received a letter of commendation from Miss E.H. Osler, Chief Commissioner for Canada, awarded for bravery of saving a 2-year-old boy, Billy Moore, who lived at Rosso Avenue West. So this appeared in the paper on page 1 of the Transcona News, April 8th, 1965.
Now, I'm sure if we go back to the paper, there might be a bit more of a description as to what exactly happened.
Yeah, I mean, I could pull the paper right now, but it'll take a little bit to find that date because with our bound newspapers, there's often more than 1 year bound in the book together. That would be an interesting one to go back to see if there's more information on the story.
Absolutely. So this is 4 members of the Transcona 142nd Girl Guide Company treating themselves to a backyard outdoor meal in preparation for their 1-day hike test. From left to right, Judy Feudaluk, Barbara Davidson, Darlene Ennifer, and Suzanne Dring, featured on page 1 of the Transcona News, 29 April 1965.
Now we're going into May. So this is over 50 hats made by the women of the East End Community Club Ladies Auxiliary. Page 4 of the Transcona News, the 23rd of May, 1963. And I really wish this photo was actually in color because we have a lot of women's hats in our collection. And this one looks pretty similar to that green one with some berries on it. It'd be really interesting if any of those hats are the hats that we actually have in our collection.
So this is Raymond Chikowski, a grade 8 student at Arthur Day who jumped a record high jump competition at Arthur Day's track and field day. Gloria Romaniuk, grade 7 student who won first place in the high jump competition, featured on page 10 of the Transcona News, 30 May 1963. And this event has some really great action shots that we have shown in previous small talks.
This is storm clouds, staff photo, appeared on page 3 of the Transcona News, the 7th of May, 1964.
Now I'm suspecting this might be Regent Avenue.
Yeah, because there's the car dealership there. Just don't know if that's looking from Transcona towards Winnipeg or Winnipeg into Transcona, just dependent. There isn't too much that we could tell. Again, if you are watching this and you can identify the location, please share that with us.
I think there was an image, and I don't know if we've shown it in a previous one, but it was of a car accident that happened at Regent and what is now Lagimodiere, and it's just barren. Like, it's now a major intersection, but it's very, very not developed at that point.
Yes, but this sign right here, it looks very similar to the one image that we posted in a previous small talk. It's the young woman sitting on a motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
That looks like it could be the same sign.
We'll have to go back and look. So this is Stuart Carrick of 534 Yale Avenue East, retiring from the Transcona Reclaim Yard as foreman after 41 years of service with the railway, featured on page 10 of the Transcona News, 2nd of May, 1963.
It's a nice interior shot at the shops. This is Laurie Odette, 11 years old, of 432 Melrose Avenue East. He was awarded the Transcona Motors Trophy as Patrol Boy for the month of February, which, interestingly enough, this photo appears on page 1 of the Transcona News of May 7th, 1964.
So a perfect example of the photographs aren't always posted in the newspapers around the events that they are recording.
Yeah, because even if you look at the weather outside, it doesn't look like snow on the ground. It looks like an overexposed, but it doesn't look super cold out.
So this is a vacant property at Winona and Melrose Avenue under construction by City Council to become a tot lot, a small playground for young children, featured on page 12 of the Transcona News, 7th of May, 1964. And I totally had to Google what a tot lot was.
A small kids playground.
Yep.
Yeah. June. This is the Transcona Friendship Club, which traveled to Falcon Lake for a picnic. Appeared on page 10 of the Transcona News, the 27th of June, 1963. And I believe we may have a few artifacts in the collection related to the Transcona Friendship Club as well.
I just love, they're all dressed up.
Yeah.
They're going somewhere, they're dressed up.
They're going to the lake. You got to get dressed up to go to the lake.
Now this is a really fun one. This is spectators at Kiwanis Park, which is now Rotary Heritage Park, during the bonfire ceremonies of Scout Guide Week, featured on page 5 of the Transcona News, 13 June 1963. So this is what the area around Kildare and Plessis looked like back in the early 60s.
We have a number of photos, I believe, from the Scout Guide Week, and we posted them on Facebook, and someone was able to see their brother in the image, and that they were really quite happy to see a picture of their brother. There was like a large tower that was built for this event. So I believe the 2747 would be over here in the image, because that looks like Plessis, and that's the railway line that cuts across.
And I think, yes, another view from that same event. So this is the view from the 20-foot scouting tower, which you just mentioned, that they built during the Scout Guide Week at Kiwanis Park. Page 1 of the Transcona News, 13 June 1963.
So that would be Kildare.
Yes, because
there's
that's
the witch's hut. So yeah, the 2747 just is not in view.
It would be, no wait, the tower was built in front of the fence structure.
Right.
So it's further back, the train, from this viewpoint.
Okay.
But look how vacant it is.
Yeah. just even the park development itself for Rotary Heritage Park, there's a lot more trees, and it's interesting that there's a sidewalk that goes all the way through.
Yes.
This is a hedge that may be in violation of a city bylaw. It appeared on page 1 of the Transcona News, the 18th of June, 1964. So either a complaint had been made to council, so they were going out and photographing it, or it was potentially a slow news day and just going out and photographing some things around town. We do have some copies of the minutes of sort of highlights of minutes from the Transcona Council, town and city of. We could potentially go through the newspaper because a lot of the minutes were published in the Transcona newspaper to see if that was actually a complaint.
And there are several other photos that it was a fence was out of violation, a tree was out of violation. So this is a small theme that we do see. So this is the Transcona Bowlers who won the Metro Area title and the Western Canada Championship at Lomer Lanes. From left to right, Don Wallace, captain, Allison Wallace, Alice Shear, Ken Nelson. Missing is Frank Oberdring. Page 5 of the Transcona News, 11th of June, 1964.
This is spectators at the Transcona Fire Department. Whoa, trying that again. Spectators as the Transcona Fire Department puts out a small fire at Kensington Square. And that appeared on page 12 of the Transcona News, the 11th of June, 1964.
July. This is Larry Mackey with a proto-speed model airplane, the Regal Raider, featured on page 1 of the Transcona News, 25th of July, 1963.
This is an unidentified group of children playing in a sandbox at the new playground at Melrose Avenue near Plessis Road. So it appeared on page 1 of the Transcona News, the 16th of July, 1964.
Mr. and Mrs. Don Zaharia, I'm so sorry, who live in Kensington Square sitting by their swimming pool, and this was the first private pool installed in the community of Transcona, featured on page 1 of the Transcona News, 29 July, 1965.
And with how hot the weather's been lately, that photo looks very refreshing.
I just like the composition of the shot, you know, with the diving board in the center there, and yeah.
This is surfboarding at Otter Falls in Manitoba, page 3 on the Transcona News, 15th of July, 1965. And I don't know if it's surfboarding, but it looks like there's actually a rope. So it could be more like wakeboarding or water skiing. It does look like one larger board though. So
I mean, it's a lake, so you're not going to get waves. So.
No, well, not big enough waves to surf.
This is a new sign which will guide Transcona golfers around the 18-hole course. Page 11 of the Transcona News, 21st July, 1966.
It's really interesting. It's a par 3.
There are a few of similar signs.
Okay,
from the same series.
This is a bus that says Transcona National Football Club on the side. It also says Transcona. For a Rambler car, it's Transcona Motors by far. Ramblers must have been sponsored by Transcona Motors. So page 4 of the Transcona News, 18th of July, 1963.
And now we're into August. So this is Bill Gander, comic book collector and amateur printer with a book. Page 1 of the Transcona News, 1st of August, 1963.
This is 4 garbage cans, 3 of which have faces painted on them, belonging to W. Dubois of 212 Horton Avenue West, which appeared on page 4 of the Transcona News, 20th of August, 1964. Just taking a closer look to see if the bottom one, it's not quite Sam. It's almost like Sam, Hi Neighbor Sam, but
Yeah.
Hi Neighbor Sam doesn't have the mustache and
He does
goatee.
not. This is the Transcona Brownies group enjoying a day camp outside with a CN train in the background. Featured on page 7 of the Transcona News, 5th of August, 1965.
This is a house for sale on Yale Avenue West. Appeared on page 7 of the Transcona News, 12th of August, 1965.
I think I just had posted this one too on our Facebook not too long ago. So folks were trying to guess. No, I think we did end up with the house number.
I think it was a different image of this house.
Yes, quite possibly.
It was a different view of it. You could see more of it and less of the tree. Sorry.
So this is one woman and 5 children seated on the grass in front of the Transcona News office at 114 Victoria Avenue West. From left to right, Mrs. W. Taylor, John Priest, Lori Ann D. Cork, Brian Taylor, Joanne Taylor, and Donna Taylor. Page 1 of the Transcona News, 20th of August, 1964.
This is Robert Osowali, champion at the Springfield Agricultural Fair and in the Beef Cattle Club at the 4-H Hazel Ridge Club. It appeared on page 5 of the Transcona News, the 1st of August, 1963.
September. I love this. This is Wendy Sutherland, left, and Valerie Minerovich of Harvard Avenue West, who believe they have found the largest weed in Transcona, featured on page 1 of the Transcona News, 5th of September, 1963.
Wonder if there's also a potential bylaw violation of that one.
Just, it's
really tall.
It's very, very tall.
This is Mrs. M. Andrusiak of 415 Whittier Avenue East, holding a 24-pound sturgeon caught at Nutdimick Lake, from page 12 of the Transcona News, 12th of September, 1963. That's a big fish.
It's sturgeon. They are basically dinosaurs.
Oh.
This is the window of J. Blostein and Son Limited, decorated by Transcona Jace's Week. Page 9 of the Transcona News, 19 September, 1963.
It's kind of almost, we don't have any interior views of the store. We've heard about the store so much, so it's kind of a little sneak peek inside. This is the editorial staff of the Transcona Collegiate Teen Page News column. Left to right, Ann Robson, Eleanor Mellish, Evelyn Baczynski, Sheila Cox, standing Larry Slotek, Wayne Hawthorne. Page 5 of the Transcona News, 24th of September, 1964.
This is Mayor Harry Fuller presenting a framed plaque to the Transcona Police Chief Joseph Terrace, on behalf of the Canadian Highway Safety Council as recognition of the city of Transcona not having a fatal traffic accident during the year 1963. Featured on page 10 of the Transcona News, 10 September 1964.
This is an arrangement of pom-pom dahlias and juniper done by Mrs. R.A. Frame of 24 Park Circle, along with ribbons it won for Award of Merit at the 10th Winnipeg International Flower Show. This appeared on page 2 of the Transcona News, 2nd of September, 1965.
I wonder if there still is a flower show. October. Transcona Public Library staff photo, featured on page 3 of the Transcona News, 17th of October, 1963.
It's interesting is the library, now if you look at it, has a number of steps up to the door, but here it's all
level.
Yeah, that's interesting to see. This is sodding of the Transcona Stadium, page 14 of the Transcona News, 10th of October, 1963. It's
a lot of sod
for two guys to that crew to put out. Yep.
It's a long day. This is Bernice Kaminsky of Lot 7, Symington Road, South Transcona, with her pet English sparrow, Sambo. Page 9 of the Transcona News, 17th of October, 1963.
This is the Scout Pipe Band during its first parade. Page 12 of the Transcona News, 26th of October, 1966.
Kind of an action shot of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a hazardous household chemicals display at the Transcona Consumers Association of Canada branch display fair held at the Regent Park Shopping Centre. Page 2 of the Transcona News, 7th of October, 1965. Just trying to see if I recognize any of those brands.
Well, I see Ajax,
Javex, Spick and Span.
That looks like Brasso. So some of them are still around today.
Mm-hmm.
This is a cat at the local cat show, and it won some sort of award. There's a ribbon attached to it. Page 7 of the Transcona News, the 5th of October, 1966.
November. So this is 8-year-old Greg Albo of 907 Brewster Bay with a bike he won on the Kids Bids television show. Standing with him are Kingsman officials Ken Gladden on the left and Vic Carman. Featured on page 8 of the Transcona News for November 1965. It's a nice bike.
Mm-hmm. This is homemakers protesting outside of the supermarket to continue boycott attempt. So I believe this was at the Shop Easy.
Okay.
There are some other ones also included in this set. But this appeared on page 1 of the Transcona News, 9th of November, 1966. And I think it was about like hikes to the food prices.
That seems to be what the signs imply.
Yeah.
So this is cars scattered along Highway 15, which is Dugald Road. Page 12 of the Transcona News, 30th of November, 1966. Yep.
Maybe it was icy, maybe not.
Just a little bit.
Just a picture of some cars on the road. This is the Canada Creosote plant located at the northern boundary of the city of Transcona. And they were controlling a grass fire, which was threatening piles of untreated railway ties. So that's along Gun Road, which was the most northern boundary. On one side of Gun Road, it's Transcona. On the other side of Gun Road, it's Springfield. Yep, it's not Transcona anymore. A lot of people just refer to that area as North Transcona anyway, but technically was not. And this image appeared on page 1 of the Transcona News, 7th of November, 1963.
I wonder if this was an event that occurred maybe sometime prior to November.
It doesn't look like November.
No, unless it was a very dry year. This is a Transcona Public Works Department bulldozer on top of a hill of gravel in the department's yard along Pandora Avenue. Page 8 of the Transcona News, 19 November, 1964.
This is Ivy Foster pinning an extremely large corsage on her husband, Wilf Foster, manager of the Transcona Royal Bank, while the couple was attending the anniversary night of the Transcona Kiwanis Club. This appeared on page 10 of the Transcona News, 26th of November, 1964. Is there even a mouse sitting on his shoulder?
Yep.
There is, yes.
It is a corsage. And now December. This is the Transcona Public Works snow plowing machine loading snow onto a city truck. Page 1 of the Transcona News, 12 December, 1963.
This is Mrs. J. Hudson placing pastries on plates for service to the members of the Transcona Friendship Club Seniors Group at their second annual Christmas party held at the Memorial United Church Lower Auditorium. This appeared on page 4 of the Transcona News, 17th of December, 1964.
This is a very slow news week because this is a woman standing in high heel shoes.
Now, this could also be, oh, it's page 23 of the Transcona News, it's 23rd of December, 1965. Sometimes the descriptions of our images, this might have been like a mistake shot that was taken. Oh, but it says it was from page 23 of the newspaper. I don't have an answer, but it's, yeah.
It is what it describes.
It's people standing in shoes. This is a group of boys standing on top of a snow castle located in the Shop Easy parking lot. Page 3 of the Transcona News, 14th of December, 1966.
This is Dwight Sochuk, left, and Doug Parashuk, right, playing the accordion to the 12 Division School Board, featured on page 10 of the Transcona News, 20th of December, 1967.
This is Wayne Lewinsky of Maple Leaf Bearcats, who scored 11 goals of the 14 against the Warriors. This was on page 6 of the Transcona News, 28th of December, 1967. So now, if anyone has any questions for us about these images that you've seen or anything about them, please feel free to leave it in the chat function if you're watching us via Zoom. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, you can leave your comment in the chat. And I'm just going to turn on our camera so you can see us and stop the presentation. So if anyone has any questions for us.
Or if you recognize any individuals or locations that were featured in some of the photographs today, you can also comment with that as well.
And if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, but also you can leave your comments in the bottom on YouTube and we'll do our best to get back to you with any questions that you have.
And if you know someone who was unable to watch today, we posted on our YouTube. We also posted on our Facebook as well as our website after the fact. So it will be available for viewing.
Yes, all of our small talks are available after the fact. Sometimes it just takes us a little while to get it uploaded to YouTube. Doesn't look like we have any questions or comments today, and that's fine. So we have 2 more small talks planned for our summer series. The next one is icons
of Transcona. So we're looking at, mascots or, official and unofficial, and others, famous symbols from Transcona. So that's next Tuesday at 12 p.m.
And then our last one of our summer series is what we're calling the Transcona Connection. So how is Transcona connected to various things, either people or places or events, or these are like true 100% connected, and some of them are more rumors that we've heard over the years of connections that we might have. So join us for those. Again, they're available. You can watch it via Zoom. You'll just have to register on our website for the Zoom link, or you can just catch us on Facebook Live. And if you can't make it, they are posted, as we said, after the fact on all of our social medias and on YouTube as well.
And if you like what we do, please support us by, becoming a museum member, following us on social media, joining our newsletter. You can donate to the museum, which you can do that on our website, through our website, or you can come in person and make a donation as well.
That's right, because we're open again.
Yes.
For vaccinated and unvaccinated individuals. You can come into the museum. Right now, we're still on our summer hours, so we're open 9:30 to 4, Monday to Fridays, Monday to Saturdays. Come fall, that'll change from 11 to 4, Monday to Friday, and 12 to 4 on Saturdays. We do require that individuals wear a mask while they're here at the museum right now. But other than that, we still are at 50% capacity, so we can't have super large groups in at once. But please come down and see our new exhibits, and be nice to see some people again at
Yes.
the museum. All right.
All right. I think that'll be all from us today.
All right. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.